What is the best way to identify gaps in your business model before you add it to your pitch deck? Let's find out. Now, many people get stuck on the business model slide. So if you're finding it challenging to create your business model slide, well, you're not alone. But the good news is that there are many frameworks that you can follow. Now, in this video, I'm going to show you a very common framework called the Business Model Canva. And it's from the same company called Strategizer.com that we used earlier for the Market Fit Canva. So they have software and training, blogs and books that you can dive deeper. But in this video, I'm going to take you on a quick tour so you can see the elements in the Canva and how they can help you create your business model slide. Because if you take the time to answer the questions on this Canva, then really you have all these gaps in place. So let's take a closer look. Now, at a very high level, the Canva is divided into three main areas. So first, we've got the desirability, and that helps you understand if there's a need. Do customers want what you have? And the next part is feasibility. Can you bring your business vision into reality? Is it feasible? And the third part is viability. Viability helps you understand if putting all this time and effort is really worth it. Does it make financial sense? So let's start with desirability. Now, in many of these cases, you're already familiar with them because we covered them in the problem and solution segment. But let's take a closer look so you can see if there's any gaps that still need further attention. So the first part is really a customer segmentation, which is really your target market. So who is your target market? Now, remember, we covered that in your target market section from the problem slide. So dive deeper and keep those user persona. Remember that slide with the user persona where you plug in the different details about the buyers. Keep these alive and keep them up to date and keep updating them so you're always aware who is your target market. Because the more you know your target market, you're going to be able to create better solutions for them. Plus, you'll know how to reach them and how to market to them. Now, the next part on this section is the unique value proposition. Do you remember what that means? It's just another fancy name for your solutions. And we covered that in the solutions section. So really the questions you need to answer in this section is, what solutions do you plan to deliver to your market? Do your solutions fit your market need? Now, you need to be filling a market need, otherwise people will not buy from you. Because remember, that is the number one reason why businesses fail, is because they are not filling a market need. And the only way to know if you're filling a market need is to know what does your market need. And that's why we worked on the Market Fit Canva earlier in the solutions section. So I hope you took the time to complete that, because all of these exercises are going to help you get a clearer vision so that you know exactly what to put on your business model slide. Now, the next section is channels, and really it's talking about how you reach and interact with your customers. So it's talking about the communication channels. How do you plan to communicate to them, and how do you plan to deliver your value to them? So to answer these questions, you might need to ask a little bit more, like, how do your potential customers want to be reached? How are you reaching them now if you already have some customers? How are the channels integrated into your business? Do you have things, automated marketing channels where they can communicate with you back and forth? Which ones are working best? Which ones are most cost efficient? And how are you integrating them with the customer routine? So based on your customer routine, do you have a good channels where they can communicate with you back and forth? It could be social media, it could be customer support, it could be some chat on your website. So all of these are channels. Now, the next one is customer relationship. What type of relationship do customers expect from you? So do they need to hear from you every day? Do they need to hear from you every week, every month, once in a blue moon? So this is what you really need to know, is what are they expecting from you in terms of customer relationship? And also to ask yourself, which one have you established already? Do you have any relationship with your customers? How are they integrated with the rest of your business model? And how much time and effort does it take you to keep that relationship? Because remember, we talked about that also in the customer support, that many people forget that part. So how much time and effort does it really cost you to have that relationship with your customers? Now, the next segment is feasibility. Can you deliver? Can we deliver on this service? And that's what you and your team need to know as you build that business. So really the questions here you're answering is, what key resources do you need to deliver your value? Do you need to purchase any physical products? Do you need any intellectual properties, brand patents, copyrights, data, human labor, or financial resources? What are the resources you need to deliver your solutions to the right people? You need to identify the key resources, once again, so that you know how much they cost you and just so that you have an accurate budget. Now, the next step is key activities. What activities do you need to do to deliver your value? The objective here is to identify the most important activities that can help you operate your business. How much will these activities cost you in time, effort, and money? So we're always trying to get that. How much effort are we putting in, and what are we getting in return? And the other part is key partners. Who are the partners, suppliers, or service providers that you need to deliver your solution? Who do you need to make your business work? Because you cannot build a business on your own and perform all the key activities yourself. So for example, if you take an all-inclusive travel package, it's a partnership between the airline, between the hotel, and in some cases it could be the local taxis. They all combine together to create that package. So it's a team effort. It's a key partnership. Even when you go to the grocery store, it's a key partnership between many suppliers, vendors, farmers that are all working together to make this business work. So list who you need and then make an estimate how much will that relationship with these people and the key partners going to cost you, so that you can make that best decision. And now once you know the desirability and the feasibility, you can now start working on the viability. Is all this work and effort really worth it? So in this section, there's two parts. There's the cost structure. The cost is when you try to see how much does everything cost. How much will delivering your product and service cost you? Which key resources are more expensive? What key activities or key partnership are costing you more? So these are questions that you will have to answer on a regular basis so that you fine-tune your business model. Now, in terms of cost structures, there are different ways that you can work. So first, you can have a cost driving pricing plan. That's when you calculate how much your products and services will cost you, and then you set a price that gives you room to make a profit. So for example, if it costs you $100, you can say, well, we're going to sell it for $200, or we're going to sell it for $150, so you know exactly how much you're making. Now, value driven is another form of cost structure, and that is based on the value it provides to the customer, like improved efficiency, productivity, and security. Now, many of the luxury brands charge more for the value simply because of their brand name. So you can also do the same strategy. You can say we're going to package price based on value, not based on cost, and then you can do some creative packaging. You can brand things differently. All of these can impact how much you end up getting money in return. So instead of charging by the hour, you can create package deals that give you more value into your business. So that's what the cost structure is all about. So now once you have all of these details, it's now time to answer, well, what's in it for me? How do you get paid? And that's the revenue streams. The revenue streams block represents the cash you generate from your customers. Now, revenue does not mean a profit because you have to subtract any costs generated by your business from your revenue to get an idea of your earnings. So if you want to know how much earnings and profits you're making when you're talking to investors, you will not be reporting the revenue number. They'll be more interested in the earnings and the profits. So you'll take the revenue, the total sales, and you subtract any expenses, interest, and tax, and make sure you subtract the cost of you as well, paying yourself. And then what's left behind, that is really the profit, and that is the number that matters. So really you need to get more clarity. So on the Canva, you're going to have some questions asking you that you can fill out. And the more questions you answer, the more clarity you'll get. So some of the questions are, how much are customers willing to pay? Well, if you want to charge them $1,000, but they're only willing to pay $100, well, then really that's not a good business model. So you need to find, first of all, how much they're willing to pay. And another question is, how much are they paying now? What are competitors on the market charging for similar services? How are they paying for them? Do they pay by installments? Do they pay upfront? What is the payment plan? How would they prefer to pay? So if you find out how they prefer to pay, maybe you can enter the market with a similar solution but give them better options for payment. And then the last question is, how much does each revenue stream contribute to your overall revenue in percentage wise? So usually in many cases you might tell them, well, 50% is services, 25% is licensing, then 25% is products. So sometimes you need to know that breakdown of where is your revenue, all the revenue streams are coming from. Now, on the Canva model, they have a longer list. Now, on the diagram I created, it was a bit more simplistic. There was like 4 types of revenue streams. On the Canva, they've listed a longer list. But if you really take a closer look, subscription fees and usage fees, many of them are fees, brokerage fees. A lot of them fall under the commission, or they fall under subscription or some form of licensing. So really, there's no wrong or right way. The main thing is try to see in your industry, in your local area, how do they refer to these revenue streams, so that you can make it clear for your customers when you're saying, well, we're charging licensing, we're charging brokerage. They know exactly what they're paying for. Some of these terms might be different in different locations. And if you're talking to investors, well, you want to find out what type of terms they use for all these revenue streams. So there's no wrong or right way. The best thing is to listen to your market, see what they're talking about, and use the same terminology that they have for these services. So then you get to identify what type of revenue streams can your business make. Now, another question that falls under revenue is related to fixed pricing and dynamic pricing. So fixed pricing is a list price based on the product, feature, customer segment, and volume, whereas dynamic pricing could be variable based on negotiation, market demand, resources, and customer behavior. So if you've ever been to a supermarket where you find that some of the costs are going up, maybe because of it's a variable price, some commodities are variable based on the price of the commodity at that particular time. So these are questions, if you can answer them, you might not know it right now, but make it a goal to be able to answer. Do we price our products and services as a fixed price? Are we more dynamic? Can it change? If it's dynamic, how will you communicate that to your customers? So all of these are questions that will impact how you convey your business model. So as you can see, there are a lot of factors that can impact your income potential. So really being flexible and listening to your market is the best strategy. Listen to your market and focus on the revenue streams that can help you generate the most profits as well. And in terms of the entire Canva, now there are a lot of questions here. So if you're not sure what to answer all of them, or maybe you might not have the details just yet, that's okay. Just put what you know for now and keep it on your radar. That is something that you need to revisit on a regular basis. And as you get more input from your business numbers, from your teams, and from your market, you can plug them into the equation here on the Canva. Because really the main purpose of this exercise is so that you can get more clarity, more specifically for yourself. This is an exercise that you need yourself, so that when people ask you, you'll be able to explain your business model more thoroughly. And the biggest questions, if you're talking to investors, what they need to know is how many sources of income can you generate, which one is more scalable, and which one is more profitable. So at a very high level, this is really what the business model is all about from an investment point of view. So in terms of tips for the Canva, I would say keep it simple, move fast, put the first answer that comes to mind. You can always fine tune later when you get more feedback. And especially with your income sources, I know many people get stuck on the multiple streams of income. Just focus on the first income stream you can get the money coming in, and then you can experiment and add other revenue sources to your business. And always, if you're not sure, consult a local accountant and lawyer familiar with your business and industry jurisdiction, because business laws varies by location. So it's very important that you deal with people who know your jurisdiction, so that you are legally covered and you have the best plan in place. So your action item for this video really is to create the business model Canva and aim to answer as many questions as you can. Flag questions that need further research and professional input so that you can ask the right people. So go ahead, get started, and I'll see you in the next video.